How would your life change if you treated your salary like a business treats its revenue? Most people earn money and let it disappear into a blur of bills, impulse buys, and I'll save next month. But what if instead every paycheck was run through the cold, disciplined eyes of a CFO? This is the story of Daniel Reeves, a 34-year-old logistics manager who decided to stop being an employee of his own life and start being its chief financial officer. Daniel earned a modest but steady salary, nothing extraordinary. For years, his money came in, and within days it was gone. Rent, subscriptions, takeout, things he couldn't even remember buying. He wasn't reckless. He was simply unconscious. Like millions of people, he treated his income as a finish line instead of a starting line. One evening, after reviewing the books for the shipping company he worked for, something clicked. He had just finished allocating the company's revenue into clean categories: operations, reinvestment, reserves, growth. And he thought, why don't I do this with my own money? That night, Daniel opened a blank spreadsheet. At the top, he typed one word: revenue. Not salary, revenue. The shift in language was small, but the shift in mindset was enormous. A salary feels like something you receive and spend. Revenue feels like something you manage and multiply. He broke his income into 4 divisions, the way a business breaks down its earnings. 20% for operating costs: rent, food, transport, the unavoidable engine of daily life. 30% for reinvestment: savings, index funds, his own education. 10% for reserves, an emergency fund, untouched, growing quietly in the background. And the remaining 40% for growth, paying down debt aggressively and funding a small side venture he'd been too afraid to start. For the first time, Daniel wasn't just spending, he was allocating. He wasn't just surviving the month, he was running a company, and the company was his own life. The first quarter was brutal. Habits don't break in a week. He missed the comfort of mindless spending, but he kept the books, the way any disciplined business would, tracking every dollar like a transaction on a ledger. And slowly, something extraordinary happened. His reserve fund crossed 1 month of expenses, then 3. His small reinvestment portfolio, modest at first, began to show its first percentage gains. 2%, then 5, then 12 as compounding quietly did what it always does. Nothing for a long time, and then everything at once. By the end of the first year, Daniel had paid off the debt that once shadowed every decision he made. His reserve account stood at 6 months of expenses. And the venture he'd funded with that disciplined 40%, a small consulting side business built on his logistics expertise, had grown from a side hustle into something generating real, measurable revenue of its own. Daniel hadn't gotten a raise. He hadn't won the lottery. He had simply stopped treating his income like a paycheck to be drained and started treating it like revenue to be deployed. The math didn't change. The mindset did. And that's the quiet truth most people never learn. Wealth isn't built by what you earn. It's built by how disciplined you are with what flows through your hands. A business that spends every dollar of revenue the moment it arrives doesn't survive its first hard season. Neither does a person. So here's the question worth sitting with tonight. If your salary landed in your account tomorrow and you had to answer to a board of directors for every dollar, would they renew your contract or would they shut the company down? Subscribe to Our Mind for more.